Good morning, Nigeria. As always, TVC has got a finger on the pulse and our eyes constantly on the streets, and we do our best to bring you global stories that are trending across the world and indeed in Nigeria. In our first submission, as Muslims across Nigeria marked the joyous occasion of Eid al-Adha, one particular celebration sparked a wave of online outrage. A video from a children's Salah party went viral, but not for its festive spirit, but for the controversial way that some of the children were dancing. Now, the clip shows minors engaging in moves that many have described as inappropriate, lewd, and troubling. The footage has, of course, ignited fierce debate on social media, with many Nigerians asking, how did we get here as a society? And why were the children allowed to continue dancing in such a suggestive manner without any adult intervention? But of course, beyond this viral moment, the video raises deeper concerns about parenting, moral boundaries, and what society now considers acceptable behavior, especially among children. Now, in the video that we cannot play, of course, due to guidelines for you guys back home, the children were seen twerking in a very lewd fashion. It was a children's party, and they were shaking their behinds, and it was very, very inappropriate. But let's take a look at social media. At Mansour says, what is wrong with parents of today? That person filming, people watching, you're all pathetic. What happened to letting a child be a child with big dreams? This looks like a nightmare in the making. This is where we have discussions about who is to blame, the school, the society, Western media. At Raynold says, starting from their parents, because the girl on black seems to be a pro. She learned those moves from a consistent source. Either their parents don't monitor them or their parents are contributors to these wayward acts. This is so wrong and sad. Moving on, in another development. In January 2025, the Abia state government made a bold move, announcing free and compulsory education for all children in the state, from primary 1 to junior secondary school. 3, regardless of their state of origin, where they come from. It's a policy that underscores the governor's clear passion for education and the well-being of children. In a now viral video from a road inspection along Tawa Onimo Road in Umuahia, the governor is seen stopping to chat with a group of school children. He asks them, are you paying school fees? And with bright smiles, they all respond, no. Now, this is a very simple moment, but it's a powerful one as well. It is proof that the free education policy isn't just a promise, it's a reality. And of course, in a country where such policies often stall, that is no small achievement. Take a look at this video.
Are you all students? Yes, sir. You are in school, right? Are you paying school fees?
No, sir.
You don't pay school fees. It's free education, right? Yes. Okay, that's good.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Okay.
This is very interesting. A lot of sentiment online was saying that the governor could have staged having the children there to ask them, are you having free education? But I don't think that's what the emphasis should be on. The emphasis should be on the fact whether the free education policy is being implemented or not. And if it's being implemented, that is all that we need to know. We cannot deny that good optics are integral to good politics. Let's take a look at social media. That is a big flex for a governor to stop and ask, are you paying school fees? And the children all said, no, we're not. It's good to see. At Dede says, this looks staged. Knowing how Nigerian politicians' security details are overzealous when discharging their duties, they would have cleared those areas as the governor is coming. Otti is doing well in Abia, though. No question about that. That is what we should focus on. At Mr. Bishop says, even the blind can testify the goodness and mercies in Abia State. I owe it to you guys. If I'm talking about the failures of government, I must also talk about their successes. Moving on now, unfortunately, as insecurity continues to spread across Nigeria, families are being torn from their homes, displaced by violence, and forced to rebuild their lives in unfamiliar, unstable conditions. But for many children caught in this crisis, the fallout is even more devastating, leaving them vulnerable to abuse, exploitation, and unimaginable trauma. One such case that's going viral is that of a 14-year-old Basharia who fled banditry in Zamfara State with her family and sought refuge at an IDP camp in Gwiwa Eka, Sokoto State. But instead of finding safety, she became the victim of horrific abuse. According to reports, a woman identified as Fauzia, the wife of a Sokoto State judge, Barrister Abubakar Zaki, allegedly hired the teenager as a maid and took her to Abuja. There, this young lady was reportedly subjected to extreme violence. She was starved, beaten, and even burned with fire. Now, this disturbing abuse has come to light after neighbors stepped in to get her emergency medical care, and shocking videos of her injuries began circulating online. Her father says that the woman warned him not to report the incident, allegedly claiming that her position and influence would protect her from the consequences. The young girl is now luckily receiving treatment, but is deeply traumatized, and her videos are going viral. This case is not just an indictment of one alleged abuser. It is a painful reminder of what happens when vulnerable children fall through the cracks of a failing system. In the video that you're watching right now, this girl's whole body is scarred for life. It is very sad to see that this is happening, that these children who are already facing the effects of being displaced persons, at every turn that they take, they are met with hostility and abuse. It's a shame. Let's take a look at social media. At Zion Babe says, if a judge's wife can do this, it seriously means that she's aware that justice will be perverted and nothing will be done to her. This is so sad. We'll take another submission. At Lambert says, good Lord, an adult did this to a child. Look at her bodily wounds, her fingers, not to talk of the emotional and psychological damages. This is heartbreaking, and the husband can't possibly be oblivious to this. My God, where is the humanity? Now, team, we are seeing in these stories that I've taken today an emphasis on the protection of children. How do we make sure that children remain children? How do we make sure they're protected in society? We constantly come on here and have dialogue, but these stories are still making headlines.
The story is quite sad. It is really, really sad. And you know what's most painful about it is that the perpetrator, what's her name again, Fauzia, is married to a chief judge, obviously educated people, you know. But going to school doesn't remove that core that you have as a human being. If you are wicked, you are wicked, no matter how much education you have. You know, treating a child badly, not feeding the child, not sending the child to school is bad enough. But scarring the child for life and treating her as if she was subhuman, and you could boast and say, look, don't do anything about it because nothing will happen. What impunity? Well, it's on social media, and I really hope something happens about this, that woman is arrested publicly. When things like this happen, the arrest should be public. Absolutely. Let people know that the law works.
Right, and if she thinks that she wouldn't face the music right here on earth, definitely there's judgment in heaven. But the story that caught my attention is the story of those children who were twerking in that video. It's sad, the level to which parenting has gotten to, how a number of parents no longer pay attention to their children, the girl child or the boy child, whichever way. It's sad that children are now are forced to become adults with that kind of lifestyle. It goes to show that there's so much going on in that home that is not right, and it's affecting their upbringing. And if you're saying perhaps maybe the school, the parents is doing enough and the school is where they are being influenced, it still falls back to who are those who send their children to these schools that are not doing the needful in training their children. And what pains me the most was that there were adults there watching them, filming them, and even making noise. It is sad. It's really sad, Olamide. I'll just leave it there.
Man, I'm just going to pick up from that story because I watched the video and I had goosebumps all over my body. My problem is, why can't children be children? Why do children want to grow up so quick? And the sad thing is that to see people there, and those children were doing this, you could not beat them up. If I was there, those children would be all beaten up. Olamide, I would spank them. Like, why are you doing this? You know, because it's very suggestive. And we know what children face right now, the protection of children and everything. And then you see children twerking. What does it send, you know, to maybe people that are watching or people that are passing by and are saying that? Do I want to say our parents have failed? I don't even know where to start from. Is it the school? Is it parenting? It's just really, really sad. It's so sad. And I feel like our parents really need to do better because it starts from home. It's not everything they can learn in school. Most of these things start from home.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love children. In fact, to the point that, you know, they used to tease me back then that it seems you have quite a number of children. But I want to talk about, you know, the governor of Abia State stopping to, you know, to relate, should I use a phrase, with those children. I mean, I want to see more of that. Our political leaders are our people. We are one. And so if we can have more of those kind of interminglings whether in the marketplace, on the streets, anywhere. It should just be normal, you know. It's a human angle conversation. It just makes the man humane. So from the office of the president or a senator or a governor or whatever the political office is, you are first human. Let's see that before we see your politics.
But Nelson, I was hoping that he would ask them, what are you doing on the streets? You should be in school.
He did ask one of the children, what are you
Yes.
doing here? And she said, I'm helping my parents. And he said, okay. I think the problem that we often face is that these children are hawking and then they're not going to school.
No, but there's
No,
free
we
education,
have
but
to
they're
take
still hawking.
we have to take this into consideration. Most children close from school and go straight to the shop or to the farm.
To assist the
they are still
parents.
wearing their uniforms and so on.
Which is not bad to assist your parents.
It's
Yeah,
school
it's
is
still
over
dignity
for the
labor.
day.
Wrong to have your uniform on to do that.
Well, I agree as well. That I agree.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Indeed, Nelson, as you pointed out, humanity is an integral part of good politics. Thank you so much. Moving on. 2 years ago, on February 12th, photos of Pastor Uche Aigbe, the presiding pastor of the Abuja chapter of the House on the Rock Church, went viral after he mounted the pulpit carrying an AK-47 rifle. The church later explained that he was using the weapon to preach a sermon on guarding your faith. But the incident had swift consequences. The FCT police command arrested both Pastor Aigbe and Police Inspector Musa Audu, who was also serving as the church's chief security officer, for allegedly handing over the firearm to be used for preaching. Now the church is unfortunately finding itself once again at the center of firearm-related controversies. Just this past weekend, we all watched as the senior pastor and the founder of House on the Rock Church in Lagos, Paul Adefarasin, responded to viral allegations that he brandished a firearm during a street encounter. In a video that's making the rounds on social media, Pastor Adefarasin was seen holding a metallic object while speaking to a passerby who was recording him. Now, this content creator was apparently known for producing street interviews and is an automobile enthusiast. And he alleged that the cleric driving past in his Range Rover wound down his window and pointed a pistol at him. Of course, the clip quickly triggered online speculation, with some viewers convinced that the object in question was a gun. However, during Sunday's 9 a.m. service of the House on the Rock Church in Lagos, Pastor Adefarasin addressed the controversy directly. He has firmly denied owning or using any firearm and described the incident as a misunderstanding. He is now urging his congregation and indeed the public not to fall for misinformation or sensationalism. But the debate goes on. What's the real connection between House of the Rock clerics and firearms? Take a look at his response.
I was falsely accused of bearing a firearm, pointing a firearm at an aggressive content creator who came within personal distance. The only thing separating me and him was about maybe 3/4 of a meter and glass. I do not have a pistol license for a firearm. I do not carry a firearm, and I pointed no firearm at anybody. Amen. And it's our policy not to dignify hate speech.
You have heard what Pastor Adefarasin has to say. He's insisting that was not a firearm. We've got to be very, very careful of trials by social media. Indeed, we went out there and we do not know. And he has addressed it, and so we'll see how this unfolds. Let's take a look at social media. Let's take a look at some opinions on what you all had to say concerning this. At Cardinal says, there are lots of educated youth and adults in that congregation believing and even defending him. His actions were suspicious and raises serious questions and concerns. He shouldn't use grammar to sweep it under the carpet. And we'll take another tweet. At Ben Samuel says, as a Christian, I completely disagree with this. His actions raise important questions that deserve better answers. He should have at least brought the same thing he pointed to the guy before the church. There was a reason he rolled down his car window. To do what exactly? We need clarity. Unfortunately, many Nigerians tend not to ask the necessary questions and turn it into a religious war. Indeed, some people might argue that a religious leader should be held to higher standards. They should not engage in any act that brings fear or confusion. At Crypto says, absolutely lies. You are in danger, but you had time to wind down your windows. Why not present exactly what was in your possession that day to the church? Come to think of it, who was in more danger? The innocent young man with a phone recording who obviously didn't know it was even you in the car, or you? Very interesting. Moving on in our final story. As insecurity deepens in Enugu State, violent clashes between farmers and alleged herdsmen continue to escalate. In response, local vigilante groups are stepping in to protect their communities, filling a gap that many say the security forces should be occupying. This growing tension raises a critical question. What role is the Nigerian army, who is constitutionally tasked with protecting the lives and property of citizens, really playing in all of this? A viral video now making the rounds shows Nigerian soldiers in Enugu, but instead of offering protection, they appear to be doing everything but that. Take a look. As you can see in this video, these troops are entertaining a community in Enugu, a full-on orchestra. I'm talking piano, singer, mic, drummer, the whole works. Now, because this is very substantial, because of the fact that there are rising tensions in Enugu State, we've seen clashes between herdsmen or alleged terrorists and a lot of women and farmers in Enugu State. And so to see the troops that are supposed to step in with this, being the ones to entertain, it's very interesting. Team, what do you make of this? It's usually the other way around. People building, boosting the morale of troops. Here we're seeing a complete opposite. Well,
the Nigerian army and armies all over the world, they have days where they go into the community and do things like that. So it is very normal. What I would like to comment on is Pastor Paul Adefarasi. He made clear statements. I don't own a firearm. I don't have a license for firearm, and so it is easy for anybody to find out the facts. Here, Edie.
All right. I'd also like to pick on that story. We are so quick to judge people without doing our own due diligence. What it looked like he held was a stun gun used for defense, just like pepper spray and all of those things. So I would not allow people come and just judge him like that. He has spoken, but I wish he brought that thing to the church to show the people. But I'd leave it there.
And just to add on quickly to what Veronica has said, I believe and I think that he should have brought it to the church for people to see. But also, we shouldn't be too quick to judge. And for me, it says, touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. So when it comes to pastors, I'm always, you know, on the law. Yeah.
You know, my only surprise is the fact that, you know, people are still going about the argument of that. I mean, come on, hey, nothing spoiled here now. Kilon share. It's just, let it be. The man has said, I don't have that. I don't own it. Please. It's not a big... Look, no, this one is not our wahala in this country. Let's focus on something that is really our issue. Not,
and we're all pretending like Nigeria is completely safe. We're all pretending like we all feel safe with our cars completely wound down in Lagos.
Unfortunately, we cannot push the conversation further. But thank you, Olamide, for those stories. And we can only hope that we begin to trust ourselves, even as we look out for ourselves as well. If you are in danger, defend yourself. But this is where we have to draw the curtains on the program for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons and peers and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the ladies, and afterwards this morning with Yori Folani. Do stay safe. Bye for now.